Alright, what's going on, guys? Let me adjust video real quick. Jordan again, serial entrepreneur, just doing another video update for Tai Lopez's social media marketing agency certification course. Just wanted to say a quick thank you to all my new subscribers already. It's kind of crazy how many people have already liked the channel and stuff. This is like I said, that was my first video, so kind of cool to see all the interaction that I'm getting from other people out there who are not only just interested in this program, but just in entrepreneurship themselves. That's kind of why I started this channel, was to reach out. I've had a lot of younger kids, so let me actually preface. I'm only 25 years old. I'll be 26 pretty soon. Um, I got a kid say "thank you, sir" to me, and just the whole "sir" thing was kind of funny because I'm still young myself. So, um, but yeah, I'm 25 years old. Been in entrepreneurship for at least since I was in high school as well. So for you 16-year-olds, I had a 15-year-old reach out to me. Um, it's definitely good to start younger. You learn a lot quicker and you have more time to kind of develop your skills. You get out with a lot more knowledge at a lot younger age than most people would. So I talk to people all the time who think I'm some business guru, and this isn't to toot my own horn, but and I'm really no business guru. I just have a lot of experiences. I've took on mentors and I've done things to kind of advance my skill set and my knowledge. So definitely start younger. I mean, it will help. And like Ty says, read books, not only just fictional books or non-fiction books, but actual self-help and self-improvement type books do help a lot. So that's the first thing. But yeah, thank you to all the listeners and everybody who's been paying attention. Um, just kind of a recap from the last video. I said I was going to try and figure out more about pricing. Um, he didn't really go into too much pricing anymore. I'm at 55% or 54%, something like that, now complete. These last few modules have been a lot longer than the first set, so that's why it's taken me a little bit. Plus, I've been working on some other things. I'll go through those updates in a second. But it does take quite a bit of time to get through the next 25%. But it was good information, and it's well worth the listen and taking notes and all that stuff. So, if you guys do purchase the program, make sure you pay attention during that part. If not, you're really missing out on some key information. So, for myself, like I said, I have a meeting with a client. I actually have one tomorrow afternoon with a client, or a potential client. I sent out a proposal 2 nights ago to a potential client. They're the owner of an online company called Prime Pet Box. Kevin, you're gonna love me. I'm giving you a shout out if you guys have heard of like BarkBox, stuff like that, where they package up stuff and you purchase it and they ship it to your home once a month, kind of like all those clothing companies that are doing it. Same kind of concept, but for dogs. So he's doing that. He's launched the company about a month ago here in Atlanta. Again, it's Prime Pet Box. And I'm looking at, doing a few things, starting off with social media to kind of help them build their brand. Because that's the thing, they're doing a lot of posting, but they're just not getting a ton of engagement yet. So that's what I'm going to help them out with. Let's see, I have it's a music company near me. They basically take in a bunch of little kids and they teach them how to play piano and beginners instruments, stuff like that. So that's kind of what I've been working on. Not to mention, like I said, the vape company, the guy who makes the cases for the vapes, still talking with him, and just kind of branching out from there. But aside from that, the whole point of it, or at least a big point of the video, is to pick your niche market, or the niche client that you're going to go after. So whether that be restaurants or doctors, lawyers, general contractors, that's kind of the focus is, or one of the big focuses in the video is to pick your niche market. So I actually found my niche, came up with my company name, picked out my website. I've actually set up my website, did all that yesterday. Took me about a day, but like I said, I have a little experience with it. I'll go into that stuff later. And then I set up my Facebook page, got MailChimp set up. I'm pretty much almost ready to go. Got a few more sites I got to set up. Instagram isn't complete yet. I set up my Google Plus, but I got to do some more work in there. So the name of the company, if you guys want to look me up, it's called Rest. Well, I'll go back. The niche market that I chose is restaurants and bars. I have a lot of experience in restaurants and bars already. Just from when I was in college, I was the manager of two restaurants and bars in my college town. I kind of helped the owner start them up. Started off in the kitchen, worked my way up to kitchen manager, then worked my way up to assistant general manager, and kind of did that. Ran all the social media marketing for him. But anyways, so that's where I have my restaurant experience from. So I figured it would be a good market for me to go into. Not only do I know how to handle the marketing, but I know how to speak their language. I know, how much labor costs are going to be versus food costs versus what their profit margin should be, relatively. I can kind of scale it up for different size businesses, but it's pretty much the same for the most part. So that's pretty cool. But the company name is Rest and Bar, so restaurant, but just Rest and Bar. So when you type it in on your web domain, if you want to check out my website and what I did, it's www.restandbar.com. I'm going to leave it in the description below so you guys can check it out. Check out my Facebook page, like my Facebook page. If you know people who have restaurants that need help with marketing, it'd be great if you help me out. And I'll kind of go into what I kind of leading into is about alliances. And you'll learn about alliances if you take this course. It's a pretty good strategy to make sure that you're getting new sales that I haven't tried before. So I'm excited to try this. So, all of the updates and welcoming aside, let's get into the big stuff. This is going to be a little bit longer of a video. Like I said, the content was a lot longer and a lot more in depth. So I'll kind of go into some depth here. Pretty much what I did, I broke up all of the videos, excuse me, by the people who he had teaching the class. So he had Joe Soto. I mentioned him in the first video. He had Joe Soto a lot. And if you want my honest opinion, like I said, this is a review. Ty's information, in my opinion, is kind of, I guess we'll say lesser than some of the other guys that he has on here. The other guys really give some in-depth strategic talk and teach you about platforms you can use to help. And that's really where, at least for me, the value has come in. I've seen a lot of talks already on motivational speaking. I've done a lot of sales jobs and stuff like that. So I have the training there. And really, I wanted more of the technical background and the data mining background when it came to the social media stuff. So that's where I'm finding the value. But so, like I said, I broke them up into individual people, Joe Soto being the first one. Joe went over 4 big topics, and that's a lot of it was dealing with Facebook. Some of it was dealing with gaining new clients and landing, basically not having to do cold calling to get a lot of these clients. And he kind of goes into some strategy on how you would do that. So the first things that he went into were the email and Facebook contest, which was it's a big selling point. We actually used to do them in the news station that I worked at in Jacksonville, and they charged a lot of money for those things. I think we charged about $2,600 or $3,000 to run a contest for a company. That's one contest. It would last 3 days, and you just basically take over their Facebook page and give away something free, do the like and share, blah blah blah. So $3,000 to do one contest, and they're actually talking about including it in your base package pricing as what you would do once a month, as long as they give you the extra money for the advertising. You would basically back bill or back pay. They would back pay that to you. So that was a big talk, was the email contest. Basically what you're doing is you're setting up a contest on Facebook, you do a giveaway, and you collect emails to build up an email marketing list. If you don't know much about email marketing, it is still very, very valuable. It's a great way to stay in communication and to what I like to call constant contact. You basically develop a relationship with them and start a communication funnel between the two of you, or between you and the customer. So email marketing is definitely not dead. Anyone who says it is crazy. The only time it will die is when email gets replaced, which I don't know what that will be, if that even is going to happen, but email could be replaced, so we'll see. The next part was capturing and finding clients, like I said. So building an alliance, and what that talks about is going out and finding people who are also in your industry. So for me, I chose the restaurant niche. I would like to go out and find people who do payment processing for restaurants. The point of sale systems that all the servers you see using, they have relationships with those business managers. So that's the concept he goes into, is building alliances with people who are also in your industry or deal with restaurants in, build a friendship with them to get more business for yourself and to give them more business. It's a two-sided thing, but you work better in teams. It's the one thing you learn growing up as a kid on the baseball field or whatever sport you played. Work as a team, you get the job done better. So that's the concept behind that. The next thing was getting PR using social media. That's a really good talk. I thought it was a really good talk. Goes into reaching out to people who basically write newspapers or magazine articles, online articles in your local area, and how to utilize them or how to leverage their writing to gain new customers for yourself. So that's very useful. PR is definitely not dead either. People think it's a dying industry or that PR is changing. Yes, it's changing. It's not a dying industry. People just receive their information in a different way now. It's not through newspapers. TV ratings are dropping because people don't watch the news on TV anymore. The older generation does, but the younger doesn't. So it's kind of a mixed market right now. Everything eventually will, flop over into being more digital, but as of right now, TV is still in existence. So, and then the last thing was a Facebook offer. So creating a Facebook ad, and then utilizing or using that to promote a discount or a special for one of your customers. That's what you're gonna have to do for some of these customers, and they are effective if you know how to use the back end manager side for Facebook Ads Manager. So that's pretty much it for Joe. Oh, one last thing is that he goes into, was very interesting, was how to use Google to find clients who don't have much digital presence. There's a bunch of auditing sites out there that you can use, and there's a bunch of free ones, but there are the little tricks he teaches you kind of show you how to find local clients in your area that don't have good marketing, and it's a really quick trick. So I'm not going to teach it. I'll teach that in a later lesson. I'm going to kind of go through some basic stuff through this video series. When I come back through and do another video series, it will be more educational. So that's it for now. Sorry, got to keep you interested. So the next person who did a bunch of the talking obviously was Tai. He talks about motivational stuff, so getting past your fears, overcoming objections, kind of salesy stuff. He talks about a VRIN score. That's V as in Victor, RIN as in Nancy, and what that is a formula basically to tell whether you're generating good content or not. It's kind of his secret sauce is what he calls it, to generating good content and being able to continuously do it. It was an interesting talk for sure, and it definitely gives you a way to kind of put into focus what elements you will need in a post or in a blog, something like that. So, and then the last thing was YouTube techniques. He kind of went into what he does and what he did to make himself so successful at using YouTube and gaining his massive following that he has now. So, like I said, Tai, his stuff isn't too, at least compared to the other guys, for me, the value wasn't there. It has some good information for sure. Kind of lets you in on his secret, but it, as far as the value that I found was definitely in the other presenters. But I see why he kind of did it this way. The one thing he's teaching is to, or one of the things he's teaching is to delegate things, basically, to free up your own time so you can do more things to make yourself more money. So it makes sense. The next talker is Josh Earp. I don't really know who Josh Earp is. I didn't do a lot of research on him. I didn't really enjoy his talks too much, to be honest. he didn't go into too much detail, and he had 3 videos or 4 videos, something like that, and they were all like 5 minutes long. They weren't very good, but he did have a couple things that are notable. So, uh, market and customer research is a topic he goes into. Um, Most people just know how to use Google, but he does give some good resources like SEMrush, which is a website used to perform audits, like I was talking about earlier. The next talk he goes into is about getting equity. So, talking to your customers or potential customers about having a piece of the business for exchange of your services and even getting some cash on top. So, that was a fairly decent talk. And then the power of SEO, which he didn't give, I didn't feel was enough information about SEO. There's a ton of really good information and insight to SEO and how it works and stuff like that. So I would recommend looking into basic SEO and how it works yourself. Basic research isn't that hard if you kind of already have a general knowledge of digital advertising. So the one thing he did go into was called ifttt.com. So it's if this, then that. That's what the IFTTT stands for. I had to make sure that was 3 T's. So that's what the IFTTT stands for, if this, then that. And it's kind of a website like, I forgot what it's called. It's a website where you basically put in your Facebook posts, your Twitter posts, and Instagram posts all into one page, and it is a chain reaction. So if the whole if this then that is kind of a play on words of how the business works. So if someone likes my Facebook page, or if someone signs up for my email newsletter, then send them an email saying, hey, go check out my Facebook page. Or if someone opens that email that I just sent them about checking out my Facebook page, then send them an email to check out my Instagram page. It's kind of a chain reaction type thing. It'll also do posts for you, post management, stuff like that. So the next talker was Peter Wang. I think Peter does work for Tai and for his actual company. I'm pretty sure he's their website developer, or he has something to do with that. He goes into a talk about Squarespace, Wix, Weebly, and WordPress, which, if you don't know what those are, Squarespace, Wix, and Weebly are all pretty much the same. They're just templated designs, so you use a template to create a website, and they're all high definition photos. So it looks really, really good. And the only thing I would say is, if you don't know how to use Canva, get used to using Canva. It took me a little bit to kind of work through it and figure it. It doesn't take long. It takes like 10 minutes to kind of really figure it out if you have any computer experience whatsoever. So just take the time to use Canva, and it will help you with creating photos for your website, stuff like that. And a little side note for Canva, because it does charge you $1 for a picture. Before you create your picture with so inside Canva, basically you're creating an image to put across so a business's Facebook banner. You know how they have writing on them sometimes and they look flashy. That's what you're creating in Canva, or you can use it to create. You can use it to create images on your website as well, but that's what you're going to be using it mostly for. So I was in there trying to create images for my website, and the first couple times I messed up. I spent a couple dollars not realizing, oh, well, I can just test it this way. So what you want to do is you create an image, or you take the image you want to use, and you use the free version of it first. Because the issue I'm getting with is with sizing and making sure that it's not blurry when you attach it to your Facebook cover photo. It has to be the right size. Luckily, Canva has one that's specifically for Facebook cover photo, but they didn't have one for my website, which I was trying to get a specific size and I didn't have the dimensions, so I had to play around with it. But use the free images first to test and to figure out what size images you should use. And then once you figure out what size images you can use, then you play around with it and use the paid version. Don't pay for the images first until you figure out what size you're going to use and all of the dimensions. That way you don't waste, a little bit of money like I did. So one thing you get from entrepreneurship is a lot of learning. So, and a lot of failure, but that's okay. Anyway, so website, Squarespace is what I'm using actually for my website. So, like I said, I'm going to post it below. So make sure to check it out once you get done. Leave comments. Let me know what you think. Maybe if you have any ideas of what I can do to make it better, I'm definitely open to listening. So, but Squarespace, Wix, and Weebly are all those templated ones, and then WordPress is the more complicated one. If you have more development experience, WordPress is the way to go. You don't need development experience. That's what it's made for. It's for the everyday user. I think it's a little more costly than the other ones, but to each his own. I plan to get into WordPress a little more because I want to get to where I have more control, and that's what WordPress allows you to do. So that's what you want to look out for with Peter Wang. It was definitely one of my favorite talks. I like the examples he goes into, and he kind of goes through a little tutorial about how to use some of the sites, so it's good. Next talker is Nathan Chan. He went into a talk about Instagram. He's very good with Instagram, apparently. He's the founder of Founder Mag, which is FOUNDR, not DER, so Founder Mag. And he does a lot of stuff on Instagram. So that was his main talk, and he went into stuff about content, types of pictures you should use, how to build your page, analytics, what sites to use for analytics to kind of give to your customers. And then Inc 361 was a cool site that he gave out, which compares. So you take a competitor, you put in their page, and it will take their pictures and compare it to industry pictures. Compare it to industry pictures that are in the same industry. So if you have a car dealership and CarMax is posting a bunch of pictures on Instagram, and they're doing a really great job, obviously, because it's CarMax, they're making a lot of sales. You want to follow the leader. That's the great way to get into entrepreneurship, is look at people who've done it before and follow their lead. Successful people who have done it before and followed their lead. So that's what this website does, is it takes the images from your competitors' websites or your clients' competitors' websites, and it gives you the best images with the most likes and the most shares, and which ones perform the best. So you kind of have an idea of how to craft your images for your clients and customers. So that was a good talk too. I like Nathan Chan's talk. Dan Fleischman, I think is his name. It's Fleischman, something like that. He talked about Instagram strategy. So using hashtags and customers and competitors' websites, how to find them, and how to build your following using their websites. It's a lot of really neat tricks. Making your staff to post about your Instagram, stuff like that, and then the frequency of your posts, which that kind of surprised me. So the frequency with Instagram is a lot higher than I thought. I thought, maybe a photo every couple days, but it's actually, anywhere from a photo, which actually a photo a day is the minimum recommendation. And then, these guys were posting anywhere from 6 to 8 photos a day on Instagram. So it kind of depends on what your customer needs. But if they're, say, like mine, a restaurant, I don't think that would hurt to do 2 to 4 to 8 pictures a day. People love food, so why not take some cool pictures of some food and put it on there? So that was pretty much it with Dan Fleischman. And then lastly was Raymond Duke, which is kind of the last portion of the series that I'm on right now. Not of the whole class. I still have, I think, about 20 videos left. But Raymond Duke goes into a lot about copywriting and how to make your content interesting. What he does to tell a story, because that is the important part. You're trying to tell a story for some of these people. So it was informative. I'm not a great writer to begin with. Luckily, my stepmom is an English teacher, and she makes me sound good when I write now. So that's a good thing for me. So that's one thing I would tell you too, is as an entrepreneur starting out, utilize as many of the people in your network as you can. Don't use them. It's my stepmom. She's going to do it because she loves me, but I have friends that help me with stuff too. I don't use them. I just build good friendships, and I leverage what they're good at. They leverage what I'm good at. They ask me for advice with their businesses sometimes and what they should do. So that's a really big key to being any bit successful in business, is building your network. And it doesn't take a lot. People think it's a big task. It isn't. It's just over time. It develops, it grows. You meet new people because of people you've met prior. And I would say that, the biggest thing is to not look at it as some difficult journey that you're going on. Just be proactive in meeting new people. Don't be afraid to talk to a random stranger. Because, number one, the world needs more of that, anyways. But the second thing is, what's the worst you're going to get from a random stranger? People aren't generally mean, people are generally lonely. At least that's what social media and digital technology and stuff like that has apparently done to our generation, anyways. But if people are lonely, get out there, go talk to them. I talk to random people all the time. My mom and my parents and my friends, they always make fun of me because I'll talk to anyone. So, um, bust out of your bubble. It'll definitely help a lot. That's kind of not really what I'm doing with this video series, but I've never done it, and I kind of always wanted to do it. So, um, anyways, getting off topic, I will end it here because that is all I have so far. Stay tuned for the next video series. Again, make sure to check out my website and my social media pages. Go like my Facebook, facebook.com rest and bar marketing. That's what you want to look up. And then restandbar.com is the website. So thanks you guys for, watching my video, staying tuned in, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks.